early on in your book, you talk about reporting that was done about how many people want to work in the office, and the numbers came out where it was between like 40 and 50% of these people, the employees that were surveyed, um, either wanted to work from not at all in the office to like no more than 2 days a week in the office, which presents a huge issue for project managers because the data is showing that when people work from, and I'm not saying everybody, you can't generalize. There are some people that work really hard from home, but we all know that there are other people that don't. So the
Sure.
averages are showing that there's less work being done
Well,
hybrid, and
yeah,
it's a huge challenge for project managers. How do
we could have
what
a
are your
very
thoughts?
long discussion about that because one could make the argument, and I haven't seen that particular data, but I'm just
Mm,
going to play devil's advocate. In that 7.5 hours is a lot of it kabuki theater, right? We're sitting in the meeting and we're pontificating or
mm,
we're doing
sure.
whatever versus at home where no one's watching us. Are we being a little bit more authentic with our time? I'm not saying that people don't slack off from home. Clearly they do.
Mm,
And I'm not saying that people are always 100% productive when they're at work. And
right.
this idea, I remember when BYOD became a thing, bring your own device. No, we got to stop that because it'll stop them from slacking. Well,
Right.
good luck with that because people will find a way, whether it's grabbing a cigarette break or taking an extra long lunch. So, yeah, the data that you reference from my book is usually anywhere from 2 to 3 days, and I find it really interesting when companies like Snap, excuse me, never mind,
Yeah.
Twitter
Yep.
mandate that you have to be in the office like COVID never happened. That might work short term, but enough companies, as you know, Gene, have
Yep.
crossed the Rubicon. And I'm not saying no one should ever be in the office or you should never work at home. I do think, though, that, and this is why I wrote the book, the future is going to be hybrid. It just doesn't make sense. There are real estate costs with having everyone with a desk. And if I can do the work, if it's collaborative, if it's team building, if it's a performance review discussion, if it's brainstorming, anything like that, I'd be hard pressed to make the argument that that is as good over Zoom. But if I'm going in to really focus and do what Cal Newport calls deep work, I'm sorry, why do I need to commute an hour and a half each way to do that?
Right.
So that leads this gray area in between. But you're right to the extent that project managers are often herding cats. It's tough for them to get the basic status update of things. It's one of the reasons, for example, that I recommend from the get-go, particularly if you're dealing with multiple organizations, you settle on the tools or the tech. Because if everyone says, well, I'm going to use whatever I want, well, your project manager's job just got 10 times harder.
Yeah, it makes complete sense.